Jim Lee and Wildstorm Productions present a Resident Evil story. Dangerous Secrets. Main debriefing room. STARS headquarters. It's been 2 days since the disastrous mission at the mansion. Alright people, let's get down to business. We lost a lot of good people in the last few days. My job is to ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. A week ago, we got a request for help from the Raccoon City Police Department. Mysterious deaths had been reported in and around the town. Deaths that the local authorities were at a loss to explain. Bravo team was scrambled, but as soon as they entered the Raccoon City forest, the engine failed. Rebecca can fill us in on what happened then. We all survived the crash, but were immediately attacked by horribly mutated beasts. We made a dash for the mansion. Once inside, Bravo leader Marini had us split up to explore the building. I wonder now whose side he was on, Barry. Easy, Rebecca. Barry will have his say later. Radio contact with Bravo team was lost, so Alpha team was sent in.
Jill, run for that house!
Barry, Jill, Wesker, and I made it into the mansion in one piece. We had no way of knowing that Bravo team was inside, but unfortunately, it didn't take long for us to find out. I had been exploring the house for only a few minutes when I found Kenneth. Or what was left of him. I knew then that he hadn't found sanctuary after all. He'd wandered into a death trap. I heard a scream from upstairs while Chris was gone, so I decided to investigate. Forrest's body was on the porch upstairs. His eyes were gouged out. I barely escaped the same fate myself. Later on, I found Richard. He'd been bitten by a huge, mutated snake. I tried to save him, but he died in my arms.
Jill, be careful.
As I went through the mansion and fought all the horrific creatures in there, I didn't hold out much hope of finding anyone alive. I was overjoyed to see Enrico, but just as he was about to tell me who our betrayer was, he was shot in the head right before my eyes.
From the start by Umbrella. Ha!
That bastard, Wesker.
Enrico!
With evidence found by Jill and myself scattered throughout the mansion, coupled with the little information Barry has been able to provide, I've pieced together what took place. As we now know, Wesker was pretty much behind this whole debacle. He was a plant in the STARS program who reported directly to Umbrella. The Umbrella organization is a shadowy group dedicated to creating biogenetic super soldiers. They set up atop a secret laboratory in Raccoon City, a suitably quiet base for their research. They stumbled upon a method of mutating genetic material by exposing it to an artificially synthesized virus known as the T-virus. Humans or animals exposed to the virus go through a process of degeneration leading to brain death, while retaining control of their motor processes. They become zombies. The virus also boosts the strength, resilience, and aggressiveness of its host 100-fold. It creates the perfect soldier. Mindless, fearless, deadly, and easily disposable. Or you drop this little virus into an unexpected human population and let them kill and eat each other. It could completely redefine the meaning of chemical warfare. Apparently, Umbrella wanted to test the effects of the T-virus on human subjects and decided to sacrifice its own researchers. I found a letter in the mansion written by John Fay, an Umbrella researcher who had been exposed in this way. Once humans were exposed, the subjects got out of control and escaped from the compound. Driven by bloodlust, they start terrorizing the town. necessitating the intervention of a STARS containment team, picked of course by their man, Wesker. I'd guessed that Umbrella wanted to test the effectiveness of their T-Virus biogenetic super soldiers, and the Tyrant, against a team of trained professionals. We were nothing but guinea pigs for their twisted research. This explains why the more inexperienced Bravo team was sent in first. They were basically a warm-up to the main event. Unfortunately, we had to discover Wesker's betrayal the hard way, battling for our lives with many of our teammates already dead. When Jill confronted him in the mansion, he locked her in a cell. "Watch your back. He's probably still close by." "Huh? But Chris, it was you." "Not now, Jill. We've still got most of the mission to recap." "What is he talking about? I found him in a cell." Anyway, I had already found Rebecca by this time, so both of us headed towards what seemed like the control room, only to be confronted by Wesker himself. Before I had time to react, he unloaded his pistol right into Rebecca. I thought she was done for.
Rebecca!
Lucky for me, I had on a Kevlar vest. First thing a good medic learns is that you've got to keep yourself alive if you're going to help anyone else.
Wesker dragged me into the control room, where I caught my first glimpse of Tyrant. He deactivated the stasis tube, but Tyrant was totally out of control. He skewered Wesker before the weasel could even think about getting away. At least he got what he deserved. No! I knew I was in big trouble. One swipe of that claw would have meant curtains for me. All I could do was keep on firing and pray that I had enough firepower to bring the creature down. It took over a dozen shots of my 10 gauge to kill it. Thank God I'd stockpiled all that ammo. Rebecca and I armed the mansion's self-destruct system.
After springing Jill from her cell, of course.
Whatever. I received a radio communication from Alpha Team pilot Brad. He was on his way with the helicopter to get us out of there.
This is Brad!
Prepare for extraction. ETA 2 minutes, 48 seconds. On the way to the heliport, we heard a horrifying growl. So Rebecca and Jill sent me on ahead while they investigated. I grabbed a flare to guide Brad in and headed for the roof. Jill and Rebecca hadn't showed up yet, but the self-destruct wasn't set to go off for another 5 minutes. Complacency almost cost me my life. Because just as Brad was bringing the helicopter in for a landing, a shockwave tossed me in the air. But I got a good view of what faced me. Umbrella had come so close to accomplishing their goals, as if the dangers we encountered in the mansion weren't dangerous enough. They had also created this, the Tyrant, augmented by the ravages of a virulent T-strain. The Tyrant was truly proving to be the ultimate soldier. My battle with him downstairs only managed to tee him off. I fired every round I had at the thing, but it just kept coming. It swiped at me a few times, but I managed to get away. I was tiring fast, though. Brad saw my predicament and tossed me his rocket launcher.
Chris, use it! Destroy the monsters with it!
Tyrant was advancing fast, but I armed the launcher and fired. Game over. Even it couldn't stand up to a concussive anti-tank missile. The explosion blew it to bits. Jill and Rebecca were already headed for the copter. My fight with the Tyrant had taken longer than I thought. We only had seconds until the mansion blew. We were safely away when it went up. First there was a deep rumble, and the sky lit up with fire. We lost too many good soldiers there. That brings us up to date.
Wait, before we go any further, I want to address the situation with Barry. He was the only one, other than Wesker, who knew Umbrella was secretly controlling the STARS agenda.
What? Barry, how could you? You're my friend! How could you betray us? Chris, stand down! Barry knows he screwed up. He saved me a couple of times in the mansion. I trust him. Barry, fill the group in on what you told me earlier. I knew Wesker was working for Umbrella. He never told me the T-virus was being developed for military use. I was under the impression that the advanced disease research was being conducted. I intended to turn Wesker in, but he threatened my family. Wesker covered his tracks pretty well, but there are indications in his notes that there was another experimental project going on. The G-virus. My information on the G-virus is extremely limited. All I can say for sure is that if it's perfected, it'll make the T-virus subjects look tame in comparison. Unlike the T-virus, the strain seems to be transmitted from an infected host to other beings directly. An effective strike against the first wave of hosts could wipe the virus out, but it won't be easy. The person that seems to be in charge of the new research is William Birkin. If this is true, we're in trouble. He's fanatically dedicated to his work and will sacrifice anything to achieve his goals. I wish we could be more specific, but as you can see, the destruction of the mansion in no way ended Umbrella's threat. I received orders from HQ. Our superiors look like they're trying to sweep this thing under the rug. We should all watch our backs. Barry and Rebecca, you will both be reassigned. STARS HQ is expecting to see you within 48 hours. And Jill, they're coming down hard on us. We're supposed to see the stars shrink and await further orders. What? But we've got to stop Umbrella. Have our teammates died for nothing? Don't sweat it, Jill. This is an opportunity for us to investigate those rumors about the European Umbrella HQ. As for Raccoon City, someone has already been assigned to take over our caseloads. Officer Leon Kennedy should be arriving in a couple of days. He's supposed to be really good. Nobody can last long in a town full of zombies. Let's hope for his sake that everything remains quiet. I've still got a bad feeling about this whole mess. Hopefully Jill and I can answer some questions in Europe. But first, I've got to contact my sister Claire. Last she heard, I was in Raccoon City, and she's just crazy enough to try and find me.